In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in Black and White emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White, where we discuss the issues that take place in our communities and how we can better solve those issues. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We have a young man, Mr. Kadedrick Richardson, that is going to be here. And Mr. Kadedrick is a financial advisor whose goal is to help individuals and their families reach their goals and live a comfortable life through comprehensive financial planning. I believe the starting point of any financial conversation should be with you, your life, your family, your priorities, and your goals. I'll listen to what's important to you and design a financial plan from a multiple strategy specifically designed to help you get you where you want to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. Kadedrick Richardson. Mr.
Thank you very
Richardson,
much, Mr. Charles.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, how are you today? And is there anything that you'd like to add to your bio?
Mr. Charles, I think you did a great job. I really appreciate you for extending your platform for me to speak today, and hopefully I'm very beneficial to someone out there.
Well, I think you will be, and I definitely appreciate that. Let's just hop into the show. And can you tell us about your journey into financial planning and what inspired you to pursue this career?
That's a great question, Mr. Charles. So personally, me grew up, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. Started out really as a football player. Majority of my life, I was an athlete, and I always said I wanted to pursue a career that I had a passion in. And learning how money works is a passion of mine, and it was kind of easily translatable too from being an athlete. The disciplines and you have to go get it. It's nothing kind of handed to you in this industry. But yeah, basically just learning how money works and being able to help people. Those are the two biggest things that really brought me to this industry. Besides just the different perks of being in this industry, of course, making money and being able to make money while helping others.
So, can you tell us what educational background or certifications have been most beneficial in your financial planning career?
Yes. So I'm life and health insurance licensed. I'm a Series 6 licensed, SIE, Securities Industry Essential test exam pass. And my next, I actually take an exam tomorrow. So I take my Series 63 and I'll pass that exam tomorrow. And then I'll be a registered rep according to the state and according to FINRA as well, which is who regulates the financial industry.
So, can you tell us, with this wonderful, illustrious career that you are on the path of conquering, can you tell us how does that transpose to what you'll be doing out in the community?
Yes, and I also forgot to add that I graduated with my bachelor's major in finance from University of Memphis. But that's a great question as well, Mr. Charles. Personally, my career is all about the community, and it's all about connecting. I say it's a connecting type of industry to be in because it's all about who you know and who you meet. It's all about shaking hands. Even if I can't assist anybody as far as financial planning, the one big thing that I always say is always about connecting. So if I can connect someone to someone who will change their life or who can help them out. That's the biggest thing. But it's all about relationships and building relationships, honestly.
Oh, wow. So, what are some of the early challenges you faced in your career, and how did you overcome them?
Yes. So some things that I had to overcome, and I'm still having to overcome, being in the second year in this industry for me. Of course, gaining people's trust, and of course, when you're talking about finances and people's money and planning as far as retirement or whatever the case may be, their family members, those things are very, very, very important things to people, and it's near and dear to them. And for them to be able to entrust me to be able to do any type of planning or any type of even just conversation with those things, it takes trust. It takes meeting people. You have to meet people. You have to know people. You have to be around people. That's really the biggest things as far as extending my practice and building my practice. Besides that, really just making the most out of relationships that I already have. Just learning what to do's and what not to do's as far as how conversation goes with people and how to transition conversation into telling people, hey, this is what I do, and I feel like I can be a benefit to you. Those are some of the biggest things that I've been learning so far, and I've been overcoming and attempting to overcome.
Well, that sounds like you've got yourself a good networking situation set up. So, is this primarily some of the things you do as to gain clients? Is that you do a lot of networking, or how are you meeting the people that you meet?
Yes, that's a great question. Again, I personally I go about it a couple of different ways. My ways of prospecting, of course, me being an athlete, I have a bunch of great relationships built in that industry or in that realm rather, and just extending those relationships and bringing them on and saying, hey, look, this is what I'm doing now, and this is something I'll be doing long term, and just letting people know, hey. I can help you out, and I can help you out in a lot of different ways. Other ways, through referral process. I call them centers of influence, but essentially people who have wide networks, such as yourself, Mr. Charles. Anybody who has a wide network, I just want to be able to meet them, shake hands with them, and say, "Hey, look, I don't want anything from you but conversation and let you know who I am and what I do." And I just want you to extend your network to me, and hopefully, I can be some benefits to someone, or even someone that knows you from your network. But just using those two things and really just putting myself out there in the community is another thing. Already had my first seminar in May of this year. I'm looking to have more after I get through with some licensing things. But having seminars, going to the people's workplace, however I can get out into the community and be help, or going to charity events, all of those type of things. I'm looking forward to doing even more of those too.
So let me ask you one other follow-up question to that. So, being a tiger been more beneficial for you in making the career choice that you made?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Being a Tiger, a University of Memphis Tiger, playing football, really, the values that I've gained from those things that they've brought me to where I am and will continue to take me to many places. A lot of people have always said that you will never realize you'll never realize the lessons that you will use in the future, and you will never realize the relationships that you'll build in the future. And those two things, man, I can't expand on those enough, because that's basically like the basis of where I am today. My relationships and my values, being able to work hard, be consistent, enjoy the grind, even when you don't see any progress, being able to love the grind, those things, those values that I've learned from being a Memphis Tiger, or just an athlete in general, help me give me the chip on my shoulder to be able to overcome anything that may come my way.
Oh, wow. I gotta say, being resilient, it means a whole lot, but it also shows just how much grit and how much grind you got in the game that you don't
Absolutely.
see.
Absolutely, and that's exactly me. Growing up in Memphis, being around, all the different things. Just growing up in a great city. Of course, it's gonna be good and bad, but just really just having a family and people that instill good values in me, always keeping God first, and really just attacking everything head on. I'm a straightforward type of guy. And I love challenges, and I love to overcome challenges. So, yeah, exactly how you said it, grit and grind. That's exactly what it is.
So, can you tell us how did you develop your expertise in debt management?
Yeah, debt management is a great tool, and it's a thing that everybody, all of us being adults, we go through it. Whether it's student loans, whether it's home mortgages, just really understanding what debt is and understanding how people view debt, but really just being in a job and listening to more tenured advisors, doing research, being a student of the game, and loving to learn just anything. Those all of those things kind of put together help me to kind of understand debt and in different ways we look at debt in the industry. We look at debt a couple of different ways. We have good debt and bad debt. And good debt just meaning that it's just not as high as priority as bad debt as far as how we want to look at getting it paid down and different payment methods with it. So those are some of the things that just help me kind of learn and build my knowledge on debt management.
Cool. So let's transition over into your financial planning insights.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, what is your approach to creating a comprehensive financial plan for your clients?
Man, that's another great question, Mr. Charles. Honestly, when you talk about comprehensive planning, my job is first and foremost is to ask the right questions and listen, because every conversation is going to be different. No conversation is going to be the same. Everyone's financial circumstances are different, and my job is to and I kind of compare it to being a tour guide. My job is to based on the information that I gather from our meetings, and usually I do 4 meetings, but basically from our meetings, my job is to gather as much intel as possible and be able to guide you to the goals that you want to complete. And it's all at your discretion, so it's nothing that I will be forcing, and it's all at your motivational speed, of course, how important it is to you. But yeah, exactly, like it's just me listening and being an open ear and saying, okay, that makes perfect sense. I understand your values, and these are some things that I think that'll be a help for you. And that's exactly how the planning process starts for me.
Wow. So, but when you're doing that comprehensive plan, are you doing that in conjunction with your client, or are you doing that separate? So that you come up with what you're going to do your planning for. How does that part work?
Yes, and that part is essentially based on my knowledge and my training, and of course the process that I learned from my great company, Northwestern Mutual. But essentially, how I do it is I take those notes from the things that I've heard. Of course, we call it a fact finder. I do a great fact finder, and once I gather those facts, what I do is I get with my team, and I go to the pen and pad, and I build the best possible recommendations. Reason why we call it comprehensive planning is because it's a wide range of different things that I offer. So if, for example, if I'm meeting with an individual and they have a big need for retirement planning, that is the focus, and they show that that's important to them. That is the focus that we talk to them about. But also, if they have some needs as far as life insurance, or if they have some needs as far as saving, I can talk on those points too, but just kind of keep them as important as they are to the client and as important as they are to the plan. Because in a financial plan, in a great financial plan, you have different options, and all of those options work together. And that's the comprehensive part of it. It's kind of like a band, if one section ain't working good, the whole band is gonna sound off. So if we're not working good in one area, whether it's retirement planning, whether it's estate planning, whether it's tax advantages, whether it's debt management, all of those things come together and help build the best plan possible for that person.
So how do you prioritize the various financial goals of your clients when developing a plan?
So it's another awesome question. So I do and it's kind of like a survey. I usually, when I first meet with someone, I do a survey, and it's about 10 different things. And based on those 10 different things, I say between the numbers 1 and 10, listen to me how important these things are to you. So that thing may be paying down debt. And depending on how important it is to you, that's kind of how I will relay it into the plan. So if that's an 8 for you, then I'll make sure that it's a very important topic of the planning process and the meet. And if it's a one, then I won't spend too much time on it. I'll touch it slightly, and then we'll move forward and talk about some more important topics that's important to you. And that's kind of how I get which points are more important to each person.
Oh, so then that's just basically that's just prioritization.
Yes, exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what common misconceptions do people have about financial planning?
Yes, that man, it's a lot of common misconceptions actually, and honestly, the way the industry is, they may be true on some forefronts, but when you run into a true person who actually is a fiduciary and keeps the standard as the best suitability, the best interest of the person in front of them, then the things you would think about is basically what are the needs for that person and what are the needs that makes sense for you. I take my personal opinion out of it, and I put the opinion not the opinion, but I put the facts and the data and the research and all of the many years and many expertise into place, and then I use that. But one that I really hear a lot is that you are a salesperson, and that can be true. It just kind of depends on what type of planner you are. I can sell you things, but I am not a salesperson. My job is to do financial planning. And sometimes, if that's implementing an annuity to help you reach some retirement plans, and I get a sales commission from it, hey, that's just part of the job. But essentially, I'm not a salesperson, or in other words, sometimes they'll call you an insurance agent because I do work so heavily with insurance too. But that's also just not true, because I do so many other things as far as portfolio planning, rollovers, tax advantage. I do so many. I bring so much other value, so much more value rather than an insurance agent. But those just a couple of them that I kind of run into sometimes.
So is there any misconception that you hear more than others? And if so, what are those?
Um, it's a couple big misconceptions. So it's a couple of experts, or we're gonna put the quotes on them. They're experts, but they don't do the everyday way of planning as far as how we as registered planners do. But some people say, for example, they don't approve of life insurance, whole life insurance, because they say it's wasting money. But essentially, the way I look at it is, when you got assets, right, and you got things that you own, it's two very important things that you must do. One, you must protect what you already have. Two, you must grow. So those two things are very important. When you think about protections is the insurance piece. So if you're not protecting, for example, if you're not protecting your paycheck that you already received, which is a very important asset of yours, then how will you be able to grow the asset into other ways? And when you look at it from a comprehensive standpoint, then you think about, okay, I see how the insurance can help me. And then when you think about also the very, very pros, it's a lot of pros that come with insurance too. And it's some pros that come from other things that may work better, but you got to make them all work together. So essentially, just understanding why it's important and why it's beneficial to help you. And that's one thing that help overcome that kind of view. And because it's a lot of negative connotations sometimes with life insurance or insurance in general and different insurance products. But the way we do planning is we can kind of use those products to help you out the best and build the best plan all together, even including when you start looking at getting into the stock market and stuff. We kind of leverage those things together.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is that the products that you offer, you can start out at one thing, but you have other variables that can work in conjunction with those things to help you grow.
Absolutely, and that's the definition. That's the basis of a comprehensive plan, using those things. And like I said, we don't want to be too heavy on either front. We want to have those things all come together and reach the plans of the client.
Can you share a success story where your financial planning significantly impacted a client's life?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my first clients, and it's crazy because just seeing these relationships transpire. So she actually went to high school with me. Very, very good friend of mine. I won't say her name, of course, but essentially when we first met, she said that she was looking for a financial advisor. She came into it not expecting much, but just after our first meeting, she found so much value into it. And we ended up doing more planning. Me and my team, we ended up building a great plan for her. And just recently, like she gave me great shouts of praise from the planning that we've already done on social media, and it's brought me so much positive attention and others to me. And I think there's just one of many more to come. Example of someone who just sees the value in the planning that I does, or that I do rather, and then just see the value and the things that can benefit others as well.
So as you're looking into the camera right now,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what can you tell your clients that are out there listening and all of those potential clients that are going to come to you after tonight's show? What is it about financial planning that you can do for them that will make them that much more comfortable?
Yes, all my clients out there and clients to be, I really, really want to just let you know that me personally, I will put you first. I will do my best to help you accomplish all of the goals. And if we fall short, I will tweak it along the way. But one thing I really want you to know is I'll give my all to it. I'll make it important to me, and just as important to me as it is to you. Of course, your financial circumstances can't be more important to me than they are to you. But with the right mindset and the right listening ears, and we can accomplish whatever financial goals you want to, as long as you come and we be very transparent, and we look at each other and we be as honest as possible about the numbers, and we make the best recommendations based on what the expertise says.
So we're going to transition to do a little bit more in-depth discussions here
Mm-hmm.
about debt management strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what are the first steps you recommend to clients struggling with debt?
Okay, perfect. So I spoke a little bit about it earlier, but so the way we look at debt is two different ways to look at debt. It's good debt and bad debt. Good debt being your student loans, your home mortgages, things that you want to pay down, but just it's not as high as priority as the bad debt things. The bad debt things would be those cash loans that you take out, would be high interest rate credit cards that you owe something on, and those things will be a little more higher in priority. We got a couple of different debt management strategies that really that's really renowned around the industry, and one of them being it's called a snowball, and it's called an avalanche. And really, people really view debt two type of ways. It's a psychological way to view, and it's a mathematical way to view. And they kind of both make sense, but in different ways. For example, in the debt snowball method, the way we attack that is we take the highest balance. So let's say if we look at all the things you owe debt on, we look at what's the highest you owe a balance on. We take the highest balance and we put it at the top, and we put them in order from the highest to the lowest. Once we pay down the highest, then we move on to the next one. We snowball it all the way until we pay everything else down. And that is more of a psychological way to look at debt, because when you think about it, once you pay off a big balance or a big balanced account, then that kind of makes you feel a little bit better about yourself, just a psychological approach. But it may not be the best approach. When you look at a debt avalanche, when you look at a avalanche method, the avalanche method takes more of a mathematical approach. We look at the interest rates. We go from the highest interest rate all the way down to the lowest interest rate. That method, one, it'll save you money, because interest is one thing that's a big, big enemy when you talk about debt. When you get behind that interest, it can roll over so much where you owe more interest than you owe what you actually spent. So that avalanche method, when you look at the interest rates and you go from the highest to the lowest, it makes more sense mathematically when you think about debt management strategies. And that's just a little gist of how we look at debt in the industry and how I talk to my clients about debt.
So, and just thinking about just debt strategies as you mentioned this, um, let's just go through a process. If you can just tell us, what does that process look like, to where you're sitting down with a client and you got a client that's got like $90,000 in debt,
Mm-hmm.
um, they're only bringing in $45,000-$50,000 on an annual basis,
Hmm.
and that debt to income ratio is like us a little bit high. And
Hmm.
so, how do you start from beginning to end? How do you actually work with that client to get that under control?
Okay, perfect. And first, we be out front with each other. We after we do our fact finder, we have a list of everything, all the debt that you actually have. And when you said $90,000 worth of debt, right?
Mhm.
Bringing in around 45 annually, 45K annually. When
Right.
we look at that, first thing we got to do, first and foremost, is divide the debt, of course, from good debt to bad debt. We look at the breakdown. Excuse me. We look at the breakdown of the debt, and then we say, okay, we got good debt. We put our good debt on this side, put our bad debt on this side. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the interest rates. We're gonna look at what's the high interest rates things and what's the low interest rate things, and we kind of line them by that too. The next thing is if we have any credit card balances, especially high interest rate credit card balances, that we can pay off within the span of a year. We look for, and I've helped multiple of my clients with this as well. We'll look for one option, possibly transferring that balance to a zero interest rate credit card, and we be consistent and we build a payment plan on how to get that paid down while paying at least minimum on everything else. And once we look at that, then we look at all of the other things that we have. If there's anything that's low enough that we that we can pay it down in a certain amount of time, then okay, we plan that and get that paid down as fast as possible. The minute we get one inquiry off our credit report or one thing that we can kind of pay off, we automatically move it on to the next. So whatever we're putting in, and we have a breakdown when we look at the annual income, and we look at the fixed expenses for each month, and we break it down by month. So whatever your paychecks for that month and your expenses are for that month, the whatever it is when you subtract the expenses from the paycheck is called discretionary amount. That discretionary amount is essentially what's left in your bank account after you pay all of the bills that you have each month. Whatever your discretionary amount is, we make sure we can include whatever debt we're focusing on to pay off and all of the minimums into that discretionary amount. And we essentially knock it down one at a time, just like that.
Oh, wow. That actually, that sounds like that's very detailed, and that also sounds like
Yes.
something that can actually solve the problem.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And we look very, very in depth, and we do very detailed breakdowns and balance sheets with each person that I meet with, and we be honest with each other. We say, okay, this is what we got. If we got $500 left over, that's what we got left over. We're gonna figure out how to get the most out of that, while also making sure we can live the most comfortable life that we're living. We don't want to stress. We don't put no extra stress on the client. We don't want the client to feel like it's no extra bills. We want to make everything work and do what it can. And if it's some things that we just can't get to that much, hey, that's just life. But we'll make sure that we keep it right there and we say, okay, what's the best way that we can kind of move around and get to that? And it's just being realistic about the plan.
So, how do you assess a client's debt situation before creating a management plan?
Yes, if you do not assess the debt before the management plan, the financial plan, of course, then it will fall through. If you don't assess debt, number one, how are you going to be able to improve your net worth? How are you going to be able to overcome that sinking? I like to compare it to like you sinking underwater because when you're in debt, it kind of feels like you're sinking underwater. But if we want to get above water, we have to pay attention to the debt first. If we don't know how much debt we're paying off, or if we got all good debt, we may can focus a little bit more on putting some things in place and starting a plan. But if we got too much bad debt, then I would, I've done this with multiple clients. Ain't nothing wrong with us saying, hold on, let's wait a second on plan. Let's attack this debt and let's get this debt to a manageable, even if we can knock it down to almost close to none. Let's get it to a point where it's comfortable for you, and then we'll start planning. Me, I'm all about the client. It some may work to get the commissions and get the money fast, but if you're not helping your client get the best experience, then what are you doing the job for? So me personally, I want to approach that in a way that's best for the client. I want to knock that debt down, and of course I want to get to the financial plan at the best possible at the fastest possible pace that we can. But it's all about the client's goals, and most times the client wants to pay their debt off anyways.
So, what strategies have you found to be the most effective in helping clients reduce their debt?
Yes, reducing debt is very important. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it very straight and cut and forward to you. It's all about consistency. I've met with multiple individuals who said, "My number one goal is paying off debt," but they're just not serious about it. You have to be serious about it. I cannot go into your account and you know what I'm saying, take the money out and pay the things off. You have to be very serious about these things, but consistency is all about consistency. These things aren't going to be done overnight, and most people think, man, I'll never be able to be wealthy. I'll never be able to be, keeping up with the Johnsons or whatever they call it. But one thing I will say is most people in America don't realize is that you can bring in $1 million a year, but if your bills is 999,000, you can still live check to check, bringing in that $1 million a year. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, it's all about being organized, having a plan, and being consistent. Being consistent is very important when you're talking about eliminating debt, and that's probably the biggest thing that I try to talk about, because essentially it's all psychological. It's all psychological. Because when you owe things or when the bills come around, don't you have a little feeling like, man, I need to pay that off, like that little psychological feeling in the back of your head, right? And that's essentially what finances is like. You will just feel yourself as you pay things off, as you become more organized financially. You will feel yourself just feeling better about yourself. And then once you look in your account one day, you paid a couple things off. You may still owe a couple things, but you got a plan that's working for you, and you know exactly how much money you can spend in that month. It's no better feeling. It's no better feeling than knowing, hey, I can actually go treat myself to a good dinner. I can go treat me and my family to a good dinner because I got it, and I put myself in place to be able to do that thing. And those things is essentially what the financial plan do for you.
Mhm. So, how do you help clients maintain motivation and discipline while managing their debt?
That's a great question too. Motivation, it really depends on the person. People bring motivation from different areas, and my job, and a very important part of my job, is seeing what's important to people and invoking those emotions. So if you're a family man or you're a family woman, and your family is what thrive you every day, I ask those questions. So hey, what does it look like? Putting your daughter through college, or what does it look like paying for your daughter's wedding, or what does it look like having things in place for your daughter to, when she graduates from school, she has a pot of money to start her own business. Kind of just ask those questions to get the mind working. Or a big question I love to ask is, what is your first experience of money? And a lot of times that kind of helps you understand how that individual thinks. Or what are your experiences with debt? A lot of times you'll realize, especially in my industry as a financial planner, that a lot of people, that their first experiences, whether it's when they were a child, where their parents always having debt, always behind on bills, and those things greatly affect the person and their motivations. So when I get to know those questions, they kind of guide me to know the person and let me know, hey, I kind of know how this person is wired. I kind of know, excuse me, what exactly that person is going through their mind, and the buttons to push to kind of get them to move into to say, hey, you can do this. And that's exactly how the process goes.
Mm. So, as our guests are listening today, what is the one thing that you can help them to feel more comfortable about when it comes to debt management strategies and the work that you could possibly do for them?
The really the biggest thing, if nothing else, that I want people to kind of understand, whether this debt management strategies or anything that I talked about today, is I just want people to understand that, one, financial planning is for everybody. You don't need to be rich for financial planning. You don't need to have all the money in the world. You can have a lot of debt to do financial planning. Everybody needs financial planning. If you're not planning, if you're not organizing, and you're never going to reach those goals that you want. And unless you hit the lottery, which is not likely, not likely at all. You're never going to reach those goals, and you can want all you want, but you have to be proactive instead of being reactive. And you can come be proactive, and we can take it one step at a time. Let's just book a meet, and we can sit down and we can look at the numbers and we can make them work.
So let's transition to benefit plans for
Hmm.
businesses and individuals.
Yes.
Can you explain the types of benefit plans you provide to businesses and why they are important?
Yes, and a big part of my planning is we do a lot of business planning. Me and my team, we talk a lot about it, and we love to work with business owners. We love to work with 1099 contractors. We love to work with anybody, no matter the size of the business. But one great thing I can do outside of just overall planning for a business is we can help implement group benefits through my firm here in Northwestern Mutual in Memphis. So some of the things we look for is we look for anybody who has a need of group life insurance, group long-term or short-term disability. Those are really our main suits, and we can help implement those and work in a way where you can get tax deductions for your overall company, and also make your employees happy and show them that you care for them, as far as putting some things just in place for protection, as far as your employees. But those are really the main gist of the employee benefit part. But overall, we do a lot of business planning, whether it's key person insurance policies, buy sell agreements, anything. It's balance sheets, really anything, trust planning, all of the above. Really, we love to deep dive into business planning.
So I'm gonna put you out here, nationally and for real right now.
All right, I'm ready, man.
All right, so here we go. I want you to tell me, why should I seek out you, Mr. Kadedrick Richardson, for my small business, to where I want to actually grow it. I want to have key person insurance, but the main thing is I want to make sure that I have the insurance to insure not only the business but my employees. Why should I look to you to get that done?
That's a great question. And me being an athlete and having an athletic background, I had to ask you, Mr. Charles, do you watch any kind of sports or anything?
All of them.
Okay. So with that being said, I'll put it like this, right? I got a moniker for myself, and it was kind of given to me just based on some results that I provide, and it's in this big play KD. And I just I love pressure. I love coming out with great results and pressure, and I love making things happen and having people and seeing the look on people's face out. They be like, "Wow, you really did the most out of it." And honestly, I like to make big plays, and I like to make big plays for myself and others. And all I know is greatness. Of course, we fall short sometimes, but if you don't fall short, how do you learn to be great? And it's a difference between good and great. And I refuse to be good. I want to be great in everything I do. And of course, you will get my 110% with anything that I do, whether that's anything that we do outside of planning, with planning. If you just need somebody to motivate you to wake up and be the best version of yourself, if you need somebody to talk to, or if you need somebody to say, look, I really want to do this financial planning thing, but I just don't know where to start. Look, I feel like I'm the person, if anybody is, that for anybody, all ages, all races, diverse, I feel like I'm the one for the job and to bring those great big play results. And that's just me. And I want to give you the best experience, and I want the experience to be so great that you refer me to all your friends and family. And with that being said, of course, I'm going to always put my best foot forward. But if I don't, I got a great team that's here to assist me, and they'll help me put my best foot forward. And it's all it's all for the plan to help you reach your goals. And that's really what it is right there.
Okay. And that actually, because I think when it comes to a lot of businesses, especially small businesses at this point in juncture, I think there are an enormous amount of them that's actually on that growth spurt, especially coming down the end of 24, going into 25. And so I'm more than sure that most are looking, for other forms of security.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
So, and looking for those other forms of security, and with the services that you're offering, I think it's a perfect partnership, but I think sometimes it's just hard to find that individual or that organization that can actually help.
Absolutely. And can I add something for you, Mr. Charles?
Yes.
The biggest thing that I like to tell all my business owners, whether small or big, is, hey, look, I understand. Being an entrepreneur is super hard, and people that's not an entrepreneur, they don't understand how hard it is, because one thing about it is work never stops. When you go to sleep, it's phone calls. When you wake up early, it's phone calls. And you know how I know is because I'm an entrepreneur myself. My practice is a business, and I'm the owner of my business. So if anybody understands the struggles and how difficult it can be and how hard it can be, it's me. My business may not be the biggest right now, but it will be pretty soon. And I say the same for all of my clients or prospects. No matter how big your business is, it's big to you, and we're gonna get the best out of it, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna look at all of the different variables that we have, and we're gonna make sure we get the most out of it, because I understand, because I'm a business owner just like you are.
So, can you tell us, how do you tailor benefit plans to meet the unique needs of different businesses or individuals?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So one way, and one very, very important way, is, because I know everybody knows who Uncle Sam is. We like to look at taxes. When you look at taxes, they got a thing called standard deduction. And we just look at all of the tax brackets. We look at the tax numbers, how you file taxes, how your business files taxes, and we look at what makes the most sense. We look at how can we structure it to make it the most tax efficient for you. We want to make it very tax efficient, and we want to waste no money, no way around, whether it's personal, whether it's business, or whether that's for both of them. We want to make that money. We want to move that money around and make it as tax efficient as possible. And that's essentially the basis of the planning, especially when you talk about business planning. Besides that, we want to look at what exactly that you want to do with your different funds. If you want to include employee benefits, guess what? Those are tax deductible. You get a tax break from them, and we look at how that tax break affects your business, how it would affect you, and how it would affect your employees. Because also that Uncle Sam is gonna find a way to tax it, and they'll tax it off top of the employees. So guess what? Each employee that you have that you're getting employee benefits for, I can individually go to them after we set the benefits up and say, hey, I'm the person that you're getting the benefits plan from. I help your employer who cares so much about you to even put these benefits in place, put these in place for you. And I want to separately talk to each one of you all and supplement it and get the most out of it, even more on a personal standpoint. And just even if it's doing that and kind of correlating that with the business planning, I just want to help it on all fronts. And that's the advantage that I have here, being a comprehensive financial planner.
So, can you tell us, at your firm or your business in particular,
Mhm.
are you guys a one size fit all, or do you customize based on each and every client?
It's all about the client. We want to custom fit everything for the client. We don't want to bring a pre-made plan and just put the client in there. Anybody can do that. What we want to do is we want to make the client. We want to tailor the plan for the client. And guess what? Along the way, we can tweak it. If this don't work, okay, let's try this. We can do different things. Excuse me. We can do different things and kind of tailor them to get the most and help us reach the goals that you have set for yourself, for your business, for your family.
So, what trends are you seeing in employee benefits that businesses should be aware of?
Yes. Please, first and foremost, a lot of employees don't even understand how to read their employee benefits. And me personally, I don't make no money from this, but I love to take a breakdown of all my clients' pay stub and say, look, this is exactly what you're getting. This is how it's getting taxed, and this is what it does for you. Just to let them know, hey, this is what that money that's coming out of your paycheck is doing for you. And that alone, a lot of people see a lot of benefit out of that, because it's like, oh, I understand what it is. Or I have term life insurance through my job. Okay, we might not need to do no term life insurance. Let's look at some other things to supplement that. Or however you need to cover yourself or protect yourself or plan to grow your money and make your money work for you. Whether that's your 401k, 403b for all my nonprofit workers, excuse me, all of the different things. We just want to help those things kind of align the work benefits with the plan that you build for yourself. And that way we have those options. So when it's time for retirement, we say, okay, I got a 401k. I got an IRA Roth. I got life insurance with cash value. I got a portfolio that I've been building. I got an emergency savings fund, and I have an annuity that I put in a long time ago. And I have all these different pots to kind of work and help me live my life how I want to, and I don't have to stress or worry about it another day in my life. That's kind of how we like to implement it and look at the job, the employee benefits part from it, and grow that with the eventual like individual financial plan.
Sounds like you guys got it all together over there at Northwest Mutual.
Yes, sir. We trying to, man. One step at a time.
How do benefits play a role in employee retention and satisfaction?
Man. Anybody who's ever worked, especially W-2, man, it just feel a little bit better when your employer takes the time out to put something in place to cover you. You know what I'm saying? And it really don't take a lot, especially when excuse me, you got a place of business, excuse me, that's making all of this money. And if your employees are happy, I guarantee you they'll come to work happy, and those results of showing your pay in your pay and your revenue and in your financial statements. And if you got happy employees, that it's no like it's no better feeling than having people that's working with a smile on their face. And that's one thing that they can put a smile on employees' face.
Well, let's transition over to client engagement and education.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach educating clients who may be unfamiliar with financial concepts?
Yeah, man, we break it all the way down rudimentary to as rudimentary as we can. One thing I will say about this industry, and of course, in a season that we're in now with the presidential election and all of these different things happening around the world, is the world is forever changing around us. So knowing about the different policies that's going around, excuse me, all the different things that's going on, we have to be aware of that in my industry. And every day, day in and day out, I'm always got MSNBC, got the news on, got my phone ticker working, reading, doing continuing education, doing my studying, always really building my brain up to have the information that I need to break it down as simple as possible for my clients. And really, when you think about that, it's a saying in the industry that the normal citizen don't know 80% of the information that we have to go through in this industry. And just think of it like this, man. When you go to a doctor, right? You go to a doctor, you don't tell the doctor, hey, this is my symptoms, this is what's wrong with me, this is my diagnosis. You don't go to the doctor and tell them that, do you?
Mm-mm.
All right. So essentially, my job is to put myself in a place as a sponge to gather all this information, and not only gather the information, but put it in a way in layman's terms where anybody can understand it, a little kid can understand it. And once I transfer the information to somebody that needs it, okay, I say, okay, that's the information. This is the plan right here. This is how we're going to accomplish that goal based on the policies, based on the market, based on whatever the needs you have. And essentially, that's financial planning from my perspective.
So what tools or resources do you recommend for clients to better understand their financial situations?
Yeah. So once we actually implement the plan, we have an app that we use. And of course, with technology, you got all these different things. Excuse me. But essentially, your phone, computers, with all this AI and everything, your phone has all the information in it. So any information that I give you from me, I challenge all my clients, go back, research it on your phone. Research this information, fact check me, make sure I'm saying the right numbers, make sure the tax policies or the tax numbers that I'm saying are true. Oh, you file your taxes like that? Okay, this is that tax code right there, and this is how this can benefit you, and this is how we can kind of make that money work the most efficiently under their tax code. Go back and fact check me. Use your phone. Please do research, because like I just said, this industry is changing every day. It's a tax code. It's a big tax tax policy that's going to change next year. Donald Trump, he got a tax policy that is actually ending in 2025. Like those things, and understanding how it affects us, how it affect our everyday life, like those type of things. We actually talked about them in the meet, talked about those policies this morning in the meet. But research them, fact check me, please fact check me. Come with questions. Call me. My phone, I have a policy where any of my clients can call me any time of the day or night and ask me any question. And if I don't know, great. That means you found a great question. And me and my team, we got to do some research and get the answer back to you. And that's what I say. Technology is man's best and worst enemy right now in 2024, going on to 2025.
So, how do you ensure ongoing communication and support with your clients throughout the planning process?
We use email, we use phone number, text. Really, we don't want to text too much. I like to talk more than text because things can get misconstrued through text, phone calls, emails. Really, I try to build, and it's all about building relationships. That's why I say this is a relationship building business. But essentially, I try to build relationship with my client to say, look, don't be afraid to ask me any question, be very transparent with me, because a lot of times you'll realize if you don't build a relationship with a client, or you don't be very transparent and say, look, it's okay. A lot of times people be ashamed of some things, you know what I'm saying? Or they be ashamed of their finances, and you will get people to start hiding things, and you really just want everything laid out in front of you. And the more transparent you are, the better the plan, the better the advice is going to help you, because you know what I'm saying? It's me and you. I'm not gonna judge you. Trust me, and it's because it's my job to help you reach your goals. And of course, you know what I'm saying. You got to be transparent to get the best to get the best results for you.
And so, let me just ask you this before I go on to my next question.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to you guys, they're Northwestern Mutual.
Mm-hmm.
When you're getting clients or you have potential clients, have you had or do you get sometimes them comparing you guys to other companies like yours?
Absolutely. Man, earlier I kind of spoke on it, kind of at a little small piece, but like across the industry, it's a bunch of competitors. Excuse me, big and small, really, and all of them really just have different business structures. And really, our business structure is comprehensive planning on the insurance and on the investments front. And we can get to a lot of things that you'll have to go to a lot of different firms at a lot of places. And that's really the biggest thing that I love about our business structure here at Northwestern Mutual is we protect and we grow. We protect and grow just to reach to the mountaintop. And essentially, when you think about that, a lot of times you'll go one place to get your to roll over your 401k. You'll go another place to get some life insurance. You may go another place to get some employee benefits for your business you want. But guess what? You can do all of that under our umbrella. And why not have everything at one you know what I'm saying, in one place? That way it'll be easy to touch all of those different areas in one time, in one meeting, in one conversation. And that's essentially the competitive advantage. But we absolutely get compared a lot. And it's just part of it. It's just part of competition. Everybody have their pros and cons.
So, what role does technology play in your financial planning and client management?
Yes, we have some really great we have really great software, man, some really great software that we use, whether it's the PX plan, illustration system. We got our own form of Chat GPT. I mean, I may say it wrong, my bad. For all my tech people out there. But man, we got some really great software. We got Zoom. I love to do Zoom. I love to do Zoom meetings. So like if you can't come in person and meet, we can do a Zoom meeting. We got tons of software, like just to help the client get their best experience. All of it's kind of geared towards that.
So, do you guys use estimators when you're putting together your plans?
It really depends. We have a couple of different simulations that we put things through, such as like a simulation as far as and I can't remember the name right now, but it's a simulation. Essentially, it predicts how much income you want in retirement, and inputs your social security, your pensions, your how much money you want to make, all of those different things, inflate interest rates. Of course, the interest rates are going to rise and move, and taxes and all of those different things. Sorry, my mouth a little dry, but essentially
You're okay.
all of those things put together, we use those to kind of get the best projections. But yeah, we got ton of those just to help us build the best plans. And we got actually a PX system that we can input all of your information, and and we got an app where it can calculate your net worth every day based on all your bills. You can put all your bills in there. You can put all your cards in there. You can actually open an account and have your bills come out of the account with us, and in the app we have as well. So technology is the way of the future, and we got all of that here.
Let's transition to future of planning.
Mm-hmm.
What changes do you anticipate in the financial planning industry over the next few years?
Man, AI. I'm gonna tell you like this, Mr. Charles. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you like this. I've seen some AI. I've seen some AI things that can do my job, your job, everybody's job in a few clicks. And the way AI is going to change in the future, I don't even think people understand how monumental this technology is. It's going to be kind of groundbreaking. I feel like it's going to be groundbreaking, just like the dot-com era, just like telephones, like all of that. But it's a lot of things that AI can do. And I think in the future, you're going to start seeing so much different stuff, and just the leveraging it kind of to help us do our job. And that's the way of the future.
Okay. So can you tell us how should financial planners adapt to the evolving of their clients in a rapidly changing economy?
Man, that question right there, that's the question right there. And how I want to answer that question is, I want to say this: we're in we're in a historical period right now, and they're going to talk about it in the history books, but it's called a Great Wealth Transfer. So you got the generation, and I don't want to mix it up, but I want to say the baby boomers are getting older now,
Yeah.
and as they get older, they're going to transfer their wealth to the Gen Zers and generations below that.
Mhm.
With the Great Wealth Transfer, it's gonna be a big thing from it need to be a lot of competent financial advisors to kind of help maintain it and help manage that. And reason why I bring that up is because that is gonna gear the future, and it's gonna change this industry, and it's gonna be a lot more people trying to get in this industry. It's a really hard industry to get in. But I would say leveraging net, leveraging technology, knowing the vast policy changes, economical changes, uh, political, all of those things, systematic, just leveraging those to kind of get the best possible outcomes and mastering your craft. That sorry, I kind of was a little bit all over the place, but that's where the industry is right now, honestly. And research me on it. The Great Wealth Transfer, we're in it right now.
Mhm. So what emerging trends in debt management do you think will shape the future of your work?
Man, debt is everything right now. My grandma had a saying. She had a saying that she always say. She said, "Boy, you gonna die owing somebody something." But I say, man, really the really great financial people, they learn how to make debt work for them. Debt ain't necessarily always a bad thing. You can help debt work in your favor, whether it's having a business line of credit, whether it's filing bankruptcy, all of the different things that you kind of do with inside of a debt. And some may be viewed good and bad, but you just kind of got to make things work and use them to your advantage. And the more strategic you are with those things, better off you are.
So so